What's been really surprising to those of us who've been following Russian intervention in elections is not what happened in a way. It's not that Russia launches a lot of fake news, launches a lot of propaganda, tries to influence elections, supports fringe candidates and all this stuff. The surprising thing was that it happened in the US. The same exact modus operandi has been happening again and again and again in many Eastern European countries, such as Ukraine in 2004, 2010, but also in Moldova, Belarus. You've seen some kind of interesting interventions, increasingly in France and Germany. What was really shocking, I think, for experts is just how big an effort and how big a push was made to tilt the US elections, and in a way, how successful that campaign was. I think the consequences are already there. So in other words, an investigation which very clearly points out, and makes clear to a broader group of the population, international publics, that Russia really did this and it really affected the election. It's already having an impact in that it's causing sort of bad press for Russia. It's sort of demonizing Russia. It's sort of showing its foreign policy in a bad light. It's one of the reasons, frankly, that Russia is not popular in the world. In most countries, Russia is seen as more of an enemy and more of a threat, and certainly not a very friendly light. And they know that. I mean, what's interesting is they've been taking this risk, right? In doing this type of high-profile attack, they're taking a big risk. They're taking the risk that everybody finds out about it and blames them for it. Apparently, the reward that they were going to get, getting Donald Trump elected and getting Tillerson, for instance, appointed and Secretary of State, and a much more pro-Russian government was worth it, was judged to be worth it to them. And worth it, I think, because they're much more damaged by the sanctions regime that we have against them than anybody in the expert community is really let on. And they need it to stop. They're running out of time, and they got pretty desperate, and they were willing to take on a very, very risky attack that has really shown their cards to the world. I think the most important thing really right now is, obviously it's important to have an investigation here, but just as a lot of people I talk to are kind of confused and they don't really know what's going on, and we're sitting around debating whether Russia had an impact on our election, which it did. They're moving on, and they're already focusing on the German elections, which are coming up in a little while. And if you want to disengage sanctions, which is, in my view, what this is all about, you want to hit the United States, and the next state you want to hit is Germany. And that's exactly what they're doing. And the German intelligence agencies have said very clearly that we're under cyber attack. The Russians stole a lot of files out of the Bundestag in Germany, and that's their parliament, and predominantly from the ruling party and not from the opposition party. And they just dumped a whole ton of this material on WikiLeaks this week. So we're going to see a concerted, full-fledged, now that they've succeeded in the US, there's going to be a full-fledged attack on the German elections that are coming up this year, and also in the French elections that are coming up in April, to destroy European unity, to divide Europe from the United States, and ultimately to get rid of sanctions both on the US side and on the European side, leaving Putin kind of a leader of European politics. So I think that what people really need to be concerned about is what's going on in Europe.